Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Little Acts of Kindness. This will be part 109, chapter 109, entitled Fragmented Past. I remember being a small child. I was popular amongst my classmates, praised and celebrated. Yet I never particularly felt close to them. They saw me for my quirk, not for me. They liked me because I wanted to be a hero and had a powerful quirk. Yet for all the friends I had, I felt lonely. Because if I acted like myself, I was scolded, and they would make me feel bad for my antics. I don't remember what I used to do that would upset them so much, but I remember being scolded for being late a lot. Kumo explained to his neighbor. His memories were always a tricky thing, something he sometimes longed to remember, but other times he feared to remember. He had been trying to be a hero after all, yet now in his life he was so far away from being a hero. All because of his boss. Sensei, the man who rescued him, truly was kind. He had expected some form of return, but after almost 15 years of service, the man had released him, saying he was free to go. Yet he couldn't find himself fully leaving Shigaraki either, despite the boy's complete lack of kindness. He had practically raised Tomura. Yet Shigaraki saw him as just a servant to order around. People thought Sensei was just an evil man, the rumors of All for One creating fear and terror. And while Sensei used that to his advantage, Kumo knew there was more to the man than most thought. Kumo didn't like the direction Shigaraki was going in, and he knew Sensei didn't either. That Sensei was realizing that Shigaraki would never be able to take over the criminal empire. The boy was a child. He didn't seem to understand that you had to be patient. He wanted to destroy everything, and he wanted to do it when he wanted. The last time he had gone into work, he had seen the rebellious glint in Shigaraki's eyes. He knew the boy enough to know he was planning something. What Shigaraki was planning, he didn't know, but he was wary. He was pulling himself further and further away, trying to break the ties to Shigaraki, to be free like Sensei said he could be. Yet Kumo still remembered the child he had comforted, the nights where Tomura had cried, and he hugged him, comforting the boy, telling stories and acting out different things to cheer the child up. Kumo didn't want to be a villain. He hadn't wanted to help in the attack on USJ. He remembered seeing Midoriya there, the way the boy bravely fought against them. He remembered seeing Shigaraki disintegrating Midoriya's chest. Kumo didn't want to be a villain. He wanted to just be himself, whoever that was. He wanted to take care of Midoriya. His neighbor needed someone to look after him since that woman he called mother clearly couldn't raise him. Kumo knew he was being a mother hen, and he kept wondering when Midoriya would snap at him, telling him to go away, to leave him alone. Yet, unlike Tomura, Midoriya never did. At times, the kid seemed wary, hesitant, but from what Kumo knew of the boy, it was understandable. The fact Midoriya felt like he was close enough for his quirk to activate was startling. He let out a long breath. I remember giant robots. A lot of loud noises, shouts of numbers, so many different quirks. I remember blue clouds coming out and protecting people, or stopping the robots. That sounds like the UA entrance exam, Midoriya said, looking surprised. He knew, logically, that he had taken the UA entrance exam, and so he gave a nod. I suspect I was a student there, he agreed. Perhaps I could have reached out to the principal to figure out who I was, but I never did. Kumo saw Midoriya tilt his head, eyebrows furrowing, looking curious. I only started remembering my former life about 5 years ago. Before, I had been told I had a past I didn't remember. But after all these years, it just didn't seem worth it. The friends I had would have long since mourned me and moved on. If I was suddenly alive, it would be something, I guess. And given I don't really remember them, nor who I used to be, I wouldn't be the person they remember. I guess I just never wanted to open whatever wounds there might be. Like I said, I'm too much of a coward, and I keep making these excuses. Like the fact that if he met these old friends of his, who would surely be heroes now, well, they would hate what he had become. Hate him because he is a villain now. Midoriya gave a nod, quietly looking at him as Kumo gathered his thoughts again. I remember being overjoyed as I made it into the class, and soon I became friends with a loud boy. He was so bright and cheerful, and we seemed to mesh really well. The boy found my antics amusing. He never scolded me for my actions. Instead, he encouraged them and joined in. He was my first true friend. After that, there wasn't really much he remembered clearly. A few hazy memories of spending time with the loud friend. The next thing I remember is my quiet friend showing up in class. Him being antisocial, but me and my loud friend kept bothering him, and eventually he softened up. We became friends. I have some hazy memories of being on a roof, talking and having fun together. One of the most clear memories being the one I told you about. The one where your quiet friend said a cloud looked like your loud friend's mom? Midoriya said. Kumo gave a chuckle, nodding his head. That's the one, he said. Midoriya gave a nod, paying attention to him. The next thing I remember is a beautiful girl. At least, I think she was beautiful. For some reason, that's the word that comes to mind when I think about her. I think I used to have a crush on her. She joined us, taught us, and helped us. She did something for us, something big that I remember us being super grateful for. Kumo admitted, even if he didn't know what she had done. I remember my loud friend's mom. She was so bright and cheerful, so mom-like. I don't remember much about my own parents. I think they were kind, good, but busy. But my friend's mom was always willing to teach us, to help us. I remember her saying she was grateful her son had such good friends. Kumo closed his eyes. My loud friend wasn't with us. He had accepted going to someplace different. I don't remember where. But I remember him being upset and sad, but laughing it off, saying it wasn't a big deal. And then one day, I remember him coming back with a muzzle on him. I remember being angry, so angry. The teachers, they hadn't been happy either, he said. I don't remember exactly what happened, but my loud friend never went back to that place he had gone to, he said. Kumo was silent for a moment. He didn't know who had hurt his loud friend, but he hoped whoever did got what they deserved. I don't remember much else. I think one of the more clear memories involved a cat, and I think I gave the cat to the beautiful girl. There's some fuzzy memories in between that, and then I remember her asking me on a date, he said. I remember being so happy. We got together, I remember now. We were officially boyfriend and girlfriend, he said, smiling as he remembered something new. Right. So we were dating, and then... What had happened after that? I remember screams. panicking, children crying. He felt his heart picking up a bit, swallowing. Pain. I remember pain and darkness. I remember wondering if the children were all right. I remember thinking about my friend, desperately wishing for him to win against the villain. And then nothing. I think that was when I died. After that, I remember waking up, having been in a coma for a while. The man who saved me was there. He helped me get my life together. I worked for him for a bit, repaying him for his kindness. He asked me to help him out at one of the places he owned, a bar, to help the boss there. My boss isn't really easy to get along with, Kumo admitted. My boss's boss, the guy who saved me, said I didn't have to keep working for him, that I've long since made up for whatever debt I owed. I don't know what I would do, how I would make money if I wasn't working at the bar. It's all I really remember doing now. Kumo looked over to Midoriya, who was still looking at him, still clearly paying attention to what he was saying. The boy hadn't tuned out, hadn't become disinterested. I hope that answers your question. I think I had been trying to be a hero, but during a villain attack I had gotten injured, either dead or near death when I was saved, he said. Midoriya nodded. It sounds like you had gotten hurt to save those children, the boy murmured. Perhaps, Kumo said. I know I don't regret what happened. Even in those last fragmented memories, there was no regret, he said. My quirk, it's different from what it used to be, I know that much. I can somewhat use it like I used to use it, but doing it like that is a strain. It's easier to use it in how I can now, so if you copy my quirk, I'm not sure if you would copy it how it is now or how it used to be, Kumo admitted. How could you use it before, and how is it different now? Midoriya asked, before swallowing. Sorry, I'm being too nosy. You don't have to answer, he said. It's fine, I don't mind, Kumo said. My quirk used to be able to create clouds, like you saw when I stopped the workers' fall, he said. He wasn't sure how he was going to explain it now, without the kid knowing he was the villain who had attacked at USJ. So he obviously couldn't say it was Warpgate. It's also no longer blue, it's purple, while I know my quirk used to be blue, he said. Now, though, the clouds act differently, have different properties. It's more mist-like in their natural state, he said. I've been told that the mist kinda hurts if someone I don't like enters it, though I've never been hurt by it myself, he said. I never really messed around with it, but I think I can change the properties of the mist, making it more acidic or less. It's only a guess. I haven't really had much use for my quirk given my job. Or at least, no use he could tell Midoriya without revealing who he really was. He knew he should tell Midoriya. He had a feeling the boy would understand. But Midoriya was probably the closest thing he had to an actual friend now. And he didn't want to lose the boy as his friend. So if he had to keep the fact he was Kurogiri a secret, he would. Kumo knew, though, he would protect Midoriya, even from Shigaraki if he had to. The boy was kind, and had the true spirit of a hero, and Kumo wanted to see Midoriya change the world for the better. If you bond with me and get my quirk, Kumo said, please use it to save and protect people. That's what I think my old self would have wanted, he said. Midoriya smiled a bit. giving a nod. "I promise," the boy said. "I don't think I'm at that point yet, but if I do bond with you, I will honor your wish," he said. Kumo nodded in return. "That's all I ask." All right, listeners, this concludes chapter 109 of Little Acts of Kindness. Chapter 110 will be up next. I know I'm always asking for your comments and your reactions and your thoughts, but I have to have them this time, right? Because the author does an incredible job of doing the point of view for Kurogiri or Shirakumo in this case, where we get to see that perspective while talking to Izuku. I love how this chapter just walks us through what Kurogiri or Shirakumo has as memories established. And, we get the fact that he has these ties to three very important people who we all know who they are, but he doesn't have names and he's describing it to us. And I just really like that. I think the author does a nice job in this chapter. And, you're really kind of sitting there and sympathizing, right? You're like, wow, this is a tough position to be in, and it really plays that fence really well. It's like on one side, I'm sitting here as a reader thinking to myself, I really wish he would just be open and honest with Midoriya, or go talk to Nezu and find out who you are, your identity, reveal yourself to Aizawa and Hizashi. But instead, there's the other part of me that's like, well, he makes some valid points, right? Digging up the past, not knowing your full self. Are you really causing more harm than good? And so it's just this really nice dynamic that took place. And I love when things like this happen. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, predictions for what you think is going to happen next. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.